In terms of the response, Mr. Speaker, the point here is that the mutual aid system in place between the distribution network operators, he will know from his time as Secretary of State the importance of the mutual aid system, the new SAC system, whereby different companies across the United Kingdom, when a storm comes in, provide help to each other. And that is why engineers are able to be deployed right the way across the country. Mr. Speaker, that is the most effective thing, because in restoring power, in restoring highly, quite dangerous, health and safety intensive work, overhead power cables, those are the people that one needs to be able to do that job. He says it took a week for the Army. Well, Mr. Speaker, it's a job for the local resilience forum to say locally what the needs are. As soon as the local resilience forum in Aberdeenshire and as soon as that in Durham gave us the call, the Army were deployed very quickly indeed. He talks about investment. I mentioned earlier 60 billion has been invested in the network over the last 8 years. In terms of this storm, Mr. Speaker, I learned at first hand on Wednesday in County Durham, Friday in Aberdeenshire, the particular nature of this storm, the unusual wind speed, that the wind came in from the northeast rather than the prevailing southwesterly winds. That makes a big difference in terms of your power network. Also, the nature of the icing and the accumulation of icing on cables is a particular part of this storm. One of the engineers, Mr. Speaker, I was speaking to in Durham on Wednesday described how this particular set of circumstances he had only experienced once before in his 35-year career in the industry. And finally, Mr. Speaker, in terms of the climate crisis, he is right. Of course, there will be similar events like this, more of these events in the future. That is why we need to do everything that we can, for example, with our net zero strategy in October, to make sure that this country becomes more resilient to these kind of events. We are currently doing a joint consultation with Ofgem on the future system operator. That is exactly the kind of response, Mr. Speaker, that we need.